Okay, good. I was hoping to not start awkward this week, and I failed, so we got that out of the way. Mike, I believe Mike Hale is with me this week, which big win for the Rainmaker office hours. Big win. So, tell us what you do with Rainmaker. I don't have the formulaic start. We're just hop right into some hardcore conversation.
Pretty much what I do is just adding features, working on some of the different different features that are going into Rainmaker, kind of the core platform stuff.
Yeah, he mentioned something. Sean Jackson, I think it was, mentioned something about Google Analytics integration.
Yeah, there's a kind of an advanced analytics piece that's going to be coming in. Lets you kind of do some drill down reports, custom dimensions and metrics. Pretty much what you can do on the actual Google Analytics side, which is going to be nice. It's just a matter of getting some of the user friendly stuff in there. So
excellent.
Working on that, working on some of the social media scheduling pieces, just some improvements to some of the e-commerce side of things. So
wow, awesome. So is there a one thing I want to ask everybody. I asked Sean last week, and I'll ask you, what's your definition of a Rainmaker? To you, what is a Rainmaker?
I look at it, before I was there, I was, a solopreneur. I had my own WordPress shop. I was doing development for people, and so I kind of looked at it as anybody's got to bring business for themselves. If you're out there doing it on your own, and you're doing whatever it is you do to bring them in, to bring the clients in. So that's you're making rain. You're salting the clouds, whatever it takes. So I look at it from that point of solo. Even though it's not just for that, but that's my background, so I always look at it that take. But it's kind of interesting to see some of the larger uses and bigger companies that are using it. So we're looking at it. So yep.
Yeah, and I think it fits so well for I always focus on 1 to 10 micro business owner, 1 to 10 employees, and I mean it just fits so perfectly. And I'm still starting to kind of beginning to grasp some of the tools that it puts at your disposal. Have you played with the landing pages at all?
Yeah. I don't have them. On my site, I moved my blog over to Rainmaker, but I'm really not using a lot of the more advanced features yet. I'm looking at doing some some ebooks and stuff, and when I get those, I'm going to have some of the landing pages. But yeah, I played around with some of the template ones, and then the from scratch ones, which I think the builder piece is pretty slick.
Amazing. Yeah. Let's call it what it is. Yeah. I mean, that thing's on, and the thought that was put into it, as far as and tell me if I'm wrong. I just really started to grasp it, and it almost feels like I should really be creating a landing page for pretty much every page I'm doing outside of my blog posts or podcasts, etc.
You can. I mean, it's really just a question of how you want to work it. The landing pages are meant. It's how you want the people to focus. You want somebody coming to that landing page to do one action. You don't want to give them a ton of different options. So if you mailing list or buy my product, my ebook, or sign up for this event, whatever it is, that's really where your landing pages are geared for. I mean, it doesn't limit to what you can use them for, but I think that's the best, because, like I said, it really wants to focus you down. You have one path that you can go down and then do something for the conversion. That's the real strength of the landing pages, I think.
Yes. Yeah, and all of the the built-in testimonials, the built-in I can't remember, the icon set is built in, and the text that is with it, and the fact that in the latest iteration of the builder, you actually have the drop-down of you can choose the design that is applied to this landing page, and it can come from your current theme or one of 5 or 6, I'm not sure, different landing page designs by,
right.
I guess, Rafal, but which is fantastic.
Yeah, they're meant to fit right in with with your theme seamlessly. You don't want to have you look and feel, and then you jump to a landing, or you come in on a landing page, and then if you go somewhere else, and then it's something completely different. That wouldn't, obviously that wouldn't make much sense. So.
Yeah, exactly. So let me ask you, I guess another question that I had was, where do you see, like, what's the big reason that somebody should use Rainmaker in your view? Like, if you had to explain, hey, this is why, it's good, how would you explain it?
I think what you get, the power of it, kind of just sign up day one. What you get, whereas if you want to do, if you want to do the membership site, okay, now you got to evaluate the different membership programs, install them, pay for them, configure them, get them set up the way you want. Okay, now you want to sell digital products. Okay, so now you have to go get a plugin for that and configure it and set it up the way you want it. And there's a lot of configuration that can be done, but you don't have to go through that evaluation process of everything, getting it set up, having somebody like what I did before to come in and like you do, to come into the site. There's still a need, I think, for a lot of people to have somebody help them out with that. But it really lets you focus on your content. If you have somebody who just wants to create some content, their blog, some digital products and things like that, that's perfect for it, because they get that kind of just day one when they sign up, and then it's just a question of how much how much more do you want to do with it? How far do you want to take it? If that makes sense,
Yeah, and I think that one thing for me that really strikes with me is focus. Like, the dashboard is a big win, a big selling point for me as far as just for anybody using it. Because if they do land there, their odds are they're going to say, dashboard, let me see. And then they're going to see big red number, big green number, talking about dollars that they made and, money that they spent on, refunds or whatever. But and then you have the A/B test. And the point is, if they can see activity there, that's my goal with the concierge service, is really just to, help ease them in. Show them how to do it, do some of it for them, but more importantly, let's teach them how to fish.
Yeah.
Then that opens up the content strategy, that opens up the content creation, and just kind of helping them fill in the additional parts of the bridge that they're building from where they start to where they're actually making consistent rain with their website.
Yeah, exactly. It's a tool. It's a platform to do that, but there still has to be the strategy side of it. You can't just no platform can you just turn on and all of a sudden you're magically it's going to run your business for you.
Exactly.
There's a lot of tools that are coming in to help you automate things and manage them a little more and get a lot of analytics and reporting on where you're at. But yeah, you're ultimately you're still responsible for coming up with your content and getting it in there and all that fun stuff. So.
Exactly. And it's interesting though, because I do, as I've watched it unfold from the beta through 2.0 or whatever of Rainmaker, I always felt that there was some hints that were being thrown, so to speak, as far as the strategy as well, just because the different options that were available in those initial landing pages, I always kind of looked at them as loops. So you had the sales page, and then you had the thank you page, or you had the where you sign up for my email list, and then you had the almost there page, and then you had the thank you page. So, all right, let's see. Now, I'm testing to see if we get any questions. So, what's the best question that you've heard? Have you heard any good questions about Rainmaker?
There's been a lot. I think the one you had was kind of who is it for? That's when I kind of get the most, because they say, I hear a lot. Oh, I looked at that. It really looked interesting. I'm not sure, if it worked for me, and usually it will in one way or another. So.
Yeah, and it is if they want to kind of adopt it. Is my thing. Like, the thing that I really like is I love the focus and I love the synergy. And I've watched the disparate individual solutions that were out there and trying to piece them together for myself and clients. And then, now, like you said, as soon as that first site, as soon as you log in, like your membership, you want to sell memberships or give them away, either way or both, done.
Yep.
Including the sales page as far as the thank you page, anything that's going to be needed, they're kind of giving you a hint by saying, especially with the builder, that was one thing that really impressed me was they gave like 7 or 8 different starting points.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
really
exactly. Because the the template ones, but there's always going to be people who want to go in and kind of create something more more from scratch, more custom to what they've got. Maybe they're recreating something. So it is, yeah. It's just like you said, it's to kind of lead them to that next step each time to ultimately convert. However, whether it's just getting their email, whether it's getting to actually buy a product, whether it's getting the sign up for mailing list, whatever whatever it is, kind of walking them through that whole process from getting to the site to being a converted lead or customer.
exactly. And that comprehensive step-by-step process, like you guys are there with Rainmaker, you're there along the way. You give them each of the different tools that are
Right.
necessary to actually make that conversion happen in a quicker period of time. One thing that you guys don't really talk about is the SSL. Like that's awesome. I had to set up SSL myself one time. And
Yeah.
never.
Yeah, and that's big now too, especially with Google now counting it to some degree. Nobody knows how
How
much.
much,
All
right?
things
But
being equal, is that just salt on top of everything else? But right, but now oh, you got to have it. So
one reason
yeah,
I like it though is user experience. I just especially when you're trying to build trust with those initially, like being able, even if they just glance up there and they just see green, maybe you're just asking them to join, a free membership or something, but just hopefully they say, okay, in my thinking, I know like if my grandfather looked at it, he'd say just his initial thought would be they're taking this seriously. Even though they're not asking for money, they take the relationship seriously. It's quote unquote secure.
mm-hmm.
At least they're pretending it is.
Right.
But over time, the actions show. So
Yeah, and it's especially they're the systems themselves are secure with the way they're hosted and everything. But yeah, like you said, it's that public perception of, oh, they've gone this one extra step to protect me, and anytime I'm giving information or something, that always looks good too. Yep.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Even with a free giveaway, I mean, you're still giving info. Respect your own. Like the way I look at it is, even if I'm asking and giving my free info, I respect my own info.
Right. Yeah, and like you said, it's just people are going to look at that and say, okay, yeah, they're doing things the right way when it's there, and have it as an option, because if you do understand, the benefits of having the SSL2, you're going to appreciate that it's there and pretty easy, pretty straightforward to get going.
Yeah, and one thing that I like is I saw in the Rainmaker forums on Authority, Bill from Theme Slayer, and he does basically, he's pretty much the only other concierge like that I know of,
Mm-hmm.
and he did a really cool write-up though the other day, and I just lost what it was. Oh, he was talking about he was answering about checkout pages, and he was talking about you could just do Stripe where they just stay on your site, they stay on your site, and you'll need to set up an SSL. Obviously with Rainmaker you just have to ask, and then he was like, and you can do PayPal where they have to go over to PayPal and do the transaction, and you may lose them.
Right.
And he kind of said, there's 2 different ways that you can do it, but here's really the question that you need to ask, or do you need to get an answer to for your customer. And it was interesting because that answer before Rainmaker would have been a very long, convoluted mess.
Yes, it is. I've done my start in development 15 plus years ago. My first full-time developer job was at an e-commerce company. We had an old classic ASP engine where you could run your store, and then it had the front end. And yeah, I mean, payments was the biggest hassle there was, all going through the different gateways and that. And I somehow got tasked anytime there was a new payment system or gateway or whatever to use. I don't know if anybody remembers Flues. They had Whoopi Goldberg as their spokesperson. This is back like late 90s, and it was this alternate currency that you could send people Flues money and they could use it. And it was kind of a ridiculous idea. It didn't last very long, but I had to plug that stuff in. So yeah, e-commerce and the payments, that's just it always gets so difficult. So with us, you just verify it with your with your Stripe account. You just authenticate that, or you can use the PayPal too, and there's some other options. It's just
Authorized, I think, authorized.net and all. But that I had a question that just, as far as e-commerce with Rainmaker, is there, like, I've heard hints and all that They'll be for physical goods.
Hmm.
Is that on the road?
It's I don't want to. It's
I
something that
mean,
we
whatever
we
you
get
can
asked
say. I mean, I'm not asking you to.
and I don't have I don't have a lot of inside information that I'm not giving. There's just a lot of things that I don't know where they are on
Gotcha.
the because as a developer I'm kind of looking 2 steps ahead, whereas everybody else is the partners are like 10 steps ahead of where it's going to go. So you're not going to get any scoop, but it's mostly because I don't exactly know. That is something that gets asked about more than once. So pretty much anytime somebody or we're hearing it from multiple places, oh, we need this, we'd like that, can this get put in? All that gets tracked. I mean, we don't ignore any request for anything. It might not go in right away, but there's a log of everything. Yeah, physical goods is one that's been asked about, and it's just gonna be a question of something that will work, within the Rainmaker platform, whether we integrate another, third-party type service, kind of like a hosted type one. If we build some from scratch, it'll probably end up being a combination of those. But yeah, I think that's something that you'll probably see down the road. I don't know exactly, where or when, but that is something that's been asked about before, the physical goods, which would be a little different because it wouldn't be right now when you buy a product, you kind of buy the one product to pay. This would be something more like where you're getting more like the shopping cart type functionality too. But again, it's just going to be a question of kind of what solution ends up being used as to how that's actually going to work.
Gotcha. Do you know much about the forms? Is there a way to display the forms using a shortcode?
The checkout form.
No. Sorry, I completely just hopped onto a completely
Okay.
different thing. My bad. No, my question, I guess, is I was just looking for through the forms, like on the landing pages. It would be nice if I could, you know, and
Mm.
I was trying to add one, but I couldn't figure, and then I got distracted, and from there's multiple rabbit holes, and then days have gone by.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on the landing pages. Like I said, I haven't gone through configuring them too much. I'm not sure. Um,
Yeah, I gotta see.
yeah,
It may be a functionality with that the form, and it may not. But I know right now it's not like piped in yet. So I'm
right.
hoping if I can display it, with the short code in
Yeah,
the interim.
and
So
I've seen a couple questions about as far as with the landing pages go of adding things to landing pages like menus and things like that. And it's always kind of that fine line of are you getting away from what a landing page is going to be? Are you
look at
getting
it.
into
Totally agree. And let me just say one thing though. With forms, it's more of a like that's the conversion. Like
right?
a menu is just total distraction. I wholeheartedly agree. What I'm
Yeah.
trying to, but the forms look very powerful. I just haven't understood them. I've always used gravity forms,
Hmm.
and they are not laid out the same, and so it's kind of culture shock when I lay it on the forms currently. So if it was gravity forms, I'd know how to do a bunch of the different
Right.
things I'm curious about. And I'm not knocking it by any
Oh,
means
right. No, I
at
get you.
all.
Yeah, it's
But
just different.
I'm just not comfortable yet at all.
Yeah, before I came on the project for my stuff, yeah, I always use gravity forms. So yeah, it takes a while to you get so used to something, it just becomes kind of second nature of how you're going to build something with it. So yeah.
With everybody using on Copy by your media team using like different Rainmaker sites, is that like a mandated thing, or is that just something everybody? It's basically a bunch of Rainmakers anyway. So
Yeah, it's just it's the whole dog fooding thing. You just we build it, it's just using it. Like I said, I just moved my. It's kind of funny because I don't have much more than a blog, and I don't, for my main site, and I don't really update it that much. It's really kind of sad how how little time I spend on my own site. But now I've just moved it over to Rainmaker. So now it's got me thinking though that some of these things are in there about doing some ebooks, doing some sort of membership list. I got a podcast. I'm actually kind of finalizing how that's what I'm going to do. So now, but it's kind of nice because one of the roadblocks before with me personally was I'd have to, even though I knew how to do it, it's just getting the time to go in. Okay, now I gotta install the podcast plugin and play around with it, and it's hard enough for me to have the time to actually even write out something and record it. So it's not a mandated thing. I mean, it's just I think wanting to use it. I mean, I always want to use whatever product I'm working on, just so I'm in there and I can see. Okay, you kind of get the how am I doing it? And like you said too, a lot of a lot of copy bloggers, especially on the on the creative side, that's what they do. It's they're just moving their sites over to it, and they're already thinking about all the content all the time, which is something really it's really trippy because it's being on the developer team, I see like the technical side of things. It's very technical, but then you get like I think one of the biggest high points of all of Rainmaker is this, the startup guide, the walkthroughs, and the knowledge base help stuff. I mean, there's so much, time and energy that went into that. Not only just making it clear, but like you were saying, kind of walking you through the process. Showing you how to do these things. So it's not you're not just coming and going, well, I've never set up a product before. I've never set up a digital download. How do I do this sort of thing? So, and that's another thing that's going to come up probably. In some of the future releases is a little more of the setup wizards to kind of walk people through that whole process.
Have you gotten access or peeked at the reseller? I mean, is that something that interests you?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I look at it because if I wasn't, I'd totally be on board with, becoming a reseller on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen what what's going into it. I don't have the final detail. And there's a big announcement, I guess, today. Sean Jackson and Jess and them are out at PubCon, and I guess they're doing a walkthrough, and then today or Thursday, I think there's going to be it's kind of a preview one of it, and then I think this week there's going to be some more announcements around what it's finally. There's a blog post that just went out this week, which I'm sure you saw.
Oh yeah.
What the fuss is all about. That one was a good good look into it, and then with what Brian said on Genesis Office Hours a couple weeks ago, I think it's just going to kind of be officially like, okay, here's what it starts out with. But no, I mean it's going to be really powerful because you get it's going to really make it easy for the reseller sides with staging, setting it up, showing it to their clients, and then pushing it live. So, because the way it works now with is you set up your kind of your preview site, and then you say, okay, go live to the main. The way I understand it will kind of be like that, but you can have by client stuff on your side of it too. So.
Yeah, it sounds like there's some cool stuff going in, and what
Definitely.
really intrigued me at one point was, I think Sean said something about basically that at a point you'll have a staging site, the live version, and then a staging for each of your different Rainmaker sites. So if I understood correctly, you could have the client, if they were going to go in and toy around or do anything, they're basically doing it on a staged version, and not affecting anything that the customers or the general public, so to speak, run into.
Mm-hmm. I think so. I'm not 100% sure how the staging side of it works. I've just seen kind of the the provisioning side of it. But I think it works along those lines.
Yeah, and
not 100% sure, but
it surprised me that they mentioned it this week. Like that, like you said, yesterday the first post of the week on Copyblogger was about the reseller. So that should be, hopefully that's a good sign that we'll have something in our hands sooner than later, because you're going to talk about excited. That is it, when are they planning? I know, or I don't know if you can answer or whatever, but I'm just curious. I've been ruminating on when the secondary the second price point comes in. So I know it's coming. They've hinted it. They've made sure that people understood.
Right. Yeah. And if you had the one where if you had gotten in, by the third, that was the big one where you're, ground level. You kind of get everything. That's something that's going to be released. I know that's being finalized as to like what the different packages are. I don't know what actual elements are going to be in each and what new stuff you get in one. Going forward, I believe kind of what it is now is going to be your base version, and then there's going to be some more. And I know there's some kind of more long-term plans to have specific some industry specific features for it too, as as more companies are coming on board too. So
yeah, somebody said something about IDX, which that immediately I think that fits right in with the okay. I'm going to actually ask a question. Agent Press. Were you familiar with that before you came, to work for Copyblogger?
Yeah, I'm actually still a licensed real estate agent in Illinois. So
Ah,
my
okay.
real estate site is running actually the previous version of Agent Press. I haven't even updated to the pro version yet. That shows you how active I am in real estate. But yeah, and so that's one that's that's going to be kind of high on the list is for for realtors to have it, because it's a perfect system for them, because you get the blogging, you get it's great, and I know IDX in one way or another is going to get plugged in there.
Yeah, that IDX
So
integration is
yeah,
genius.
it's
Like the way
almost as
that
bad as
they're,
payment systems to do.
oh yeah, the marketing automation was exciting, but the once I got into the landing page builder, then I was just completely blown away, and then understanding some of the things that are coming, like especially being able to have that integration to sell to this industry, to where you're basically saying, look, it's all taken care of, it's all there.
Right.
That's a very for somebody to sell that. That's very exciting. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it's not hard to close with confidence then.
Yeah, and it is too, because if you look at a lot of the different real estate platforms out there, and they're great, and they'll give you like a decent website, and there's some that are WordPress based too, and I know Zillow had a thing where it's like a WordPress based sort of a real estate site that's got all their stuff in it, but yeah, the issue is you're either going to have like the best. My approach to it is get a WordPress site, because you get all the benefits of that, and then get a nice IDX plugin to work on your site, and do that, because that's half the battle. Because IDX is it's great for some people. I know some may just don't have it, some swear by it, so it's just kind of a question. But then you have all the other features. Now again, with Rainmaker, you'll have all the Rainmaker features and all the benefits of it, plus you'd be able to use that as your main site, because if you have people coming in to search for homes and properties and such, so
Yeah, I've helped
that'll be a big one.
a couple of agents or agencies or whatever build websites, and
Hmm.
I mean, they were both using, basically I think all three of them were using IDX. So
Hmm.
then
Yeah.
making it look kind of the same, and it depends on who your IDX is and
Right.
how flexible it is, etc. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. The
guys are
IDX is the easy
solving that
part.
problem. That's an awesome thing
Yeah.
for some of us. All right. What is I guess where do you see Rainmaker going?
I just see it becoming more and more powerful tool for marketers. Everything, kind of the advantage we have is that it's really doing things the copy blocker way. It's no mystery. It's the way that as a company they've done things for years. It's just kind of putting those things together and say, okay, here's the tools that we use. you know
Refined.
yeah, exactly. It's all laid out for you. You can do things the way we do it. There's no secret. There's no secret sauce, and well, we've got the special under the hood tool that we use. It's not. Which is sad, because then you run into the issue of, you actually have to create great content and put it out, and something provides some sort of value, which is the hard part. This lets you focus on that a little more. So I just see it really more and more on the marketer side of things, the content marketing side of things, with just more powerful features to growing your business with, and helping you run. I think it's going to be more to so many people. It's going to be more than your website. It is your website, and that's the core. But there's so much you're going to run your business from it. There's so many pieces with that I think that's where it's really going to be,
Yeah.
powerful.
And I even now, I don't refer to it as your website most of the time. It's more like, look, you're taking your office, you're putting it's your office, but online.
Mm-hmm.
And now that you have all of and when you use the dashboard the way that the dashboard is structured, and then you have all the different pieces that are automatically there, plus all the reporting, it's pretty, it's not hard for people to kind of understand that and say, yeah, it is. I've seen the people that I've spoken to about it, and I've done it a lot for a while, over the years, with a lot of different small local business owners, trying to explain, how can it benefit me to, make an
Mm-hmm.
investment. And these days it's not hard, and it's because they saw Rainmaker and they saw, look, for this price, this, largely insignificant price, 95 or whatever dollars a month, you get all this.
Mm-hmm.
And they do it every month.
Right.
And they're constantly adding stuff and et cetera, et cetera. So.
Yeah, and then I think we'd start looking at the hosting side of it, the access to the content optimization tools,
Oh,
that
yeah.
come out of Scribe, your choice of the themes that are in there, just the synthesis hosting. I mean, when you put it all together, really, it sounds like the problem is it sounds when I think, oh yeah, I can go to a mass hoster and get a site for $12 a month, not even like $6-7 a month. I could pay that, or I could pay 95. 95 sounds like a lot. When you really start breaking it down as to what it's going to get, or if you had to hire a WordPress developer to get in there and build something for you,
Yeah.
it's I mean $1,000 a year. You're spend thousands of dollars getting this fun. Even somebody, in my opinion, even somebody just kind of putting it all together for you, just setting everything up for you is big. And then to have the new features as they roll on, and the stuff as it comes in. So.
And a team committed to delivering the new features that has a proven track record. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of any business person, and I don't care if it's just you and you're starting something on the side and you're taking it seriously and you have an actual talent that you can monetize. If you come at me with $2 hosting, like, look, should I do? I really like their.
I'm not sure if you lost me or if I lost you, but it froze up. I'm taking over the Rainmaker office hours. I think we lost Jason. I'm not sure if I'm still on. I'll just wait a minute and see if he pops back on.